Just a little context. There's kind of an amazing story about this piece. It's called At Home at the Zoo, but it started in 1959 when Edward Albee wrote a play called The Zoo Story. He gave it to a friend, and he was in Italy, and the friend said, "This is incredible. Do you mind if I give it to another friend?" The other friend was German. He said, "This is incredible. Let's do it in Berlin." So it was done, it was translated, it was performed in Berlin. They flew Albee over. He had not a word of German, and he watched his play that he really felt was the first play that was really him, that spoke like he heard these characters, and he didn't understand a word of it. And then we came to New York, and it was a revelation for American playwrights and for the American theater. Nobody had written a play quite like The Zoo Story, ever. It's a picture of New York City that nobody else cared to write about, and it changed American playwriting and made a great career for Edward Albee. And he had a long, really distinguished, successful career, and in 2007, he went back to this play and thought, one of these characters is less well known than the other character, so I'm going to write about the one that we hear less about. So he wrote what is essentially a prequel, and it was first performed in 2007, and the first New York production was 2014. And now they are played together. But one of the characters is continuous. He leaves the first play and appears in the second play. So that's an extraordinary gap between when Edward Albee first visited this idea and when he returned to it. And both of these plays are remarkable plays, and they're proof of what an extraordinary writer he was. And we decided we would work on this piece. We didn't know where we'd perform it. We didn't know how long it would take. Things were very crazy in the theater last year and this year. So we just kept working until then this place appeared. And it's well, we'll do it there. And well, we've only got 2 lights, and that's okay. We don't have a set, but there's a set right outside. And you will see that the police cars and the fire trucks and the people living on the street were right in the middle of the city, which is right where this play is. So thank you guys for making the effort to come downtown tonight on a Saturday night and watch At Home at the Zoo.
We should talk.
What? We should what? We should what?
What? We should what?
We should what?
Oh, we should talk.
I was reading. I'm sorry.
It happens so often.
Sorry.
No, that's not what I meant.
What?
You read so, you get so involved reading more all the time.
Deepening concentration. Deepen concentration. Work.
Once I talked to you for, seemed like minutes about what? The fireplace, I think. And you didn't hear a word.
The
You were
ears,
reading.
the ears turn off. Out, rather. The fireplace, really.
The andirons.
What was wrong with them, with the andirons?
Nothing really. I wondered if I should clean them, if I should wash them.
Why?
What?
Why you should wash them?
Well, I noticed the fire had made them all gray and sort of matte, and I wondered if we liked that.
Have we like that?
I don't know. We never had the conversation. You never heard me. We never talked about it.
What did you do about the andirons?
I scrubbed them,
Um,
and then they got all matte again, all gray.
I'm sorry, I get so
Doesn't matter.
involved. I guess it goes faster that way. What are you doing with the towel?
Oh,
When it's very important and very boring like this, well, you see me go into like a trance. That way, I don't get to think, this is so boring I can't do it. It's important. It's probably the most important, boring book we've ever done. Well, maybe. It's hard to tell. There are so many, so important, so boring. Where are you? Anne?
that was close.
What was?
Hard-boiled spinach.
Really? Can you do that?
We'll never know. If you're going to cook, stay by the stove, or at least in the same room.
Or microwave?
I've decided I don't like the microwave. Hard to get in there and stir things around. You have to trust what you're doing.
Can't you stop the thing and open it up?
Of
And
course you can, but that seems like cheating.
why do we have two of them?
We have two of everything.
We do?
One was for the kids.
Did they use the microwave?
Where do you live? Have you ever been in the kitchen?
Twice, as I remember.
Of course they use the microwave all the time.
I guess I'm the only one who doesn't.
I doubt the cats do, though they are bright.
I want a dog.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
What's the book?
It's the most boring book we've ever published.
Really? What a marketing gimmick. The most boring book we've ever published, and you know our reputation.
And probably the most important.
And probably the most important.
As textbooks go, it'll most likely make us rich. The company, anyway.
What's it about?
You really don't want to know.
What's it about?
About 700 pages. I can barely lift it, much less read it. But I do have to read it, so.
Before I married you, my mother said to me, why ever would you want to marry a man who publishes textbooks?
She did not.
Well, she might have, and maybe she did. Why ever would you want to marry a man who publishes textbooks? Gee, I don't know. It seemed like fun.
I thought your family liked me.
They do. He's a good, solid man, Dad said. I've told you this. None of that fly-by-night fiction stuff.
Fly by night. What does that mean? Bats? And how does it relate to fiction?
I made it up. He never said it. Look it up.
What?
Fly-by-night.
Maybe I will.
Or have one of your researchers do it. Is it really all that boring, the most boring, etc.?
Yes, except maybe Trollope's autobiography, which we didn't publish, naturally.
I never read it.
Very few have, all the way through. I tried. It kept falling out of my hands. Well, slipping.
This is your party thing, this Trollope thing. You do this at parties.
I do?
Lots.
I didn't know.
It doesn't matter. Makes you look smart and funny, which you are anyway.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a good one. Keep it. It's a keeper.
Thanks. Anyway, next time you have trouble falling asleep, try it. Or this.
Thanks.
What?
If I ever have trouble sleeping, she said, ironically.
I see. Leaving bed before dawn when you think I'm asleep.
Do you?
Yes. Why?
Don't you worry. You never ask. Why can't you sleep? Where are you going? What is it you want?
Come back. I assume you're about your business.
My nighttime business. My pre-dawn business.
I'm sorry. Perhaps.
For all you know, I could go out in my night clothes, down in the elevator, out the door, down 74th Street to the corner, stand there, scream.
You could, yes. But you wouldn't.
Or get there, strip off completely, lie down, and spread my legs to the night, the pre-dawn. No, I wouldn't, would I?
No, you wouldn't.
Some night, get up, follow me. You've never done it, followed me?
No.
All these years?
No, it's something people do. Get up.
Who are all these people? People you've slept with?
No, it's what people do. Where do you go?
Get up some night. Follow me. To the kitchen usually, cup of tea. One night I sat for an hour. I thought about having my breasts cut off
Where?
in the kitchen.
You didn't.
No, more than 20% of us get breast cancer, and over 50% of those of us do die of it. What better way to avoid it if you're young enough?
Are you?
I don't know. Well, probably. Probably not.
You would tell me, wouldn't you?
What?
If you were thinking of it, seriously.
No. I go to one of those clinics where they do that sort of thing on the fly, or the fly-by night, and I'd say, walk in, and I'd say, hello, I'd like to have my breasts cut off, prophylactic and all. Please, and don't tell my husband.
Do you think there are women who do that?
There are women who do anything.
Everything?
Either, both.
You were really thinking of doing that?
I was thinking about it, about what it would be like to think about it, about doing it. Once you hear of an idea, you never know where it will lodge itself, when it will move from something learned to something considerable, something you might think about, which is not that much different from being thought about if you wanted to or needed to.
We all die of something.
Sooner or later.
Yes, but
Yes, but you do love pedantry so. Dying of not doing something can be carelessness.
having your breast cut off can be called care.
An extreme case? Yes.
Only a crazy person.
Then there are a lot of loonies around.
No one.
Many.
Only a crazy person.
Have it your way. I remember the night I thought about thinking about it. My mother had called me that day and told me she decided to have an affair with somebody.
She did? Who?
I don't know. Somebody.
Yes, but you said.
I said, she told me, why are we moving this conversation away from me, away from something that concerns me? She said that she decided to have an affair with somebody.
Yes.
And of course, I asked, who? Who are you going to have an affair with?
Of course.
Well, not necessarily. I might not have wanted to pry or to know,
Yes, that's possible.
but I did. I did want to pry or know, so I did.
Pride.
Ask, who are you going to have an affair with? I said, casual like, who?
And
She said she didn't know. She hadn't decided or Maybe she hadn't met the person.
It just seemed like a good idea.
Or so she thought. Does that seem like a good idea? I asked. I assume it does. Well, not necessarily, she said. It might be something bad I want for reasons I haven't figured out yet. You get more complex with age, I said. Like cheese. She smiled, I think. So, something bad might be a good idea in that case. Yes, she said. Isn't life odd?
Like hacking off your breasts.
Having them hacked off.
Yes, sorry.
We're back on that, aren't we?
Well, it's... Did her telling you lead you to your breast thing in some weird, convoluted female way? Her telling you about wanting to have an affair lead you to contemplating having your...
Weird, convoluted female way? Who are you?
Sorry.
Lead me to considering? No, I don't think so. Though maybe if I had no breasts, the likelihood of having an affair, if I were planning to have one, would be, well, I was going to say diminished.
Why not? Why not say diminished?
Well, probably yes, though there are people around.
Who like that sort of thing? Like, something? Restlessness?
There are people like everything. Anything.
Symmetry. God, I love symmetry. Are you planning something?
You mean beyond dinner? Beyond feeding the cats and the rest of the menagerie?
Yes.
Beyond thinking about something?
Yes.
I don't know. Like what? Like having an affair? Like mother, like daughter? I hope not. I hope I'm not thinking about that.
Me too.
You two what? You hope I'm not, or you hope you're not?
Either. Both.
Me too. The nights are strange. I look at you, asleep, unconscious, lost to the world, as they say.
Temporarily.
Ah, well. I look at you, deep asleep, not dreaming. Do you know when you're asleep, you're paralyzed? Deep sleep, not the dreaming, but deep sleep, your body is entirely paralyzed, except the automatic stuff, the breathing, the heart, just a fraction of one ear. So you can hear doom sneaking up, I suppose. And something else, I can't remember what. You're entirely paralyzed.
Yes, I do that.
You did?
Yes, we published that book on sleep. Keep up.
Damn.
Sort of a sleeper. Joke.
Damn. What? Joke, yes.
What's the other thing? The other part. I don't remember.
What?
A part of one toe?
Oh, a fraction of something.
What? Come on.
I don't remember. Keep up. Your dick, probably.
Huh. I doubt it.
But no mind of its own? No automatic whatever?
I think...
What?
No.
You think what? Come on.
No, now.
I won't tell anyone.
Well... I think my circumcision is going away.
No, wait. You think what? You think your circumcision is doing what?
It's not funny.
No, of course not.
Oh, that's it.
No, I'm sorry.
my circumcision is going away.
My goodness.
Please,
I'm sorry.
you may not have noticed.
No, certainly if I had, I would have noticed that I had.
It's just that when I take it out to pee, my penis,
Yes, I gathered.
the foreskin looks to be coming over the ridge of the, the glands, just a little.
My goodness.
And when I'm sitting on the bed, when I'm naked, I look down, and it seems even more so. More of the gland seems covered.
Gracious.
May not mean much to you, but
No, I mean, goodness, if you've had a circumcised husband all these years and all of a sudden there's a foreskin. I mean, you're about to wonder, who is this? What is this?
it's not that there is no foreskin as such. It's that it seems to be
It.
my penis. My penis seems to be retreating. A little. Not much, but a little.
That's so sad. Time. Time. Things happen, as the man said.
I just thought I'd mention it.
Oh, certainly. Do you want to have it looked at? Professionally, I mean?
No, I'll keep an eye on it.
I would. The thrill of your
All
glands.
right.
Darling, I'm sure if you want to regrow your foreskin,
I do not want to regrow my foreskin.
I mean, I'm sure there are ways to.
Yeah, I know. Hanging weights on it for years. I've read about it.
Hanging weights on your, but it isn't even there.
What?
Your foreskin, except you say it's coming back.
That's not what I said. What I said was that my circumcision was going away. I did not say my foreskin was coming back. For Christ's sake, it can't. It's gone. The doctor took a pair of scissors
A
and
scalpel, I think.
whatever. I was a baby. Nobody asked me. They just took it away.
Well, and you're not even Jewish.
Me, not even Jewish. They should ask.
You weren't a week old, for God's sake.
I mean, wait. They should wait and ask.
How long?
You mean,
What? Until you're what, 5? Honey, do you think you'd like to be circumcised now? What's that, Mummy? Oh, darling, they take a little scalpel, a little knife.
no, later.
What? The age of reason? 16 or whatever? Hey, Pete, you want to have your foreskin cut off today? Are you kidding?
Be a lot more uncircumcised guys around.
And a lot more cervical cancer.
Really?
Some. What got you on this? Me and my breasts?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's not your subject.
What?
Sex stuff.
No, I guess not.
Mr. Circumspection.
Anyway, I thought I'd bring it up.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
Really? Are you really glad
What?
that I brought it up? My circumcision going away. Seemed to.
Same thing, no?
Not your field.
Well, clearly you wanted to bring it up. Clearly it's been bothering you.
Not bothering. Bemusing. Bemusing me.
Whatever. I appreciate being told. You're sharing.
You're welcome. Obviously it wasn't noticed.
Noticed?
Never mind.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Do you think they ask the parents at the hospital before they do it?
What?
Circumcision.
I don't know. We have daughters, remember?
Yes, but I think I remember reading it's customary.
What?
Doing it.
You could sue. I could sue.
Well, will they just sew it back on?
Maybe.
You mean, you think they've kept it around somewhere for the past 60 years in a bottle?
What?
Your foreskin in a bottle somewhere in case you suit them.
Don't be silly.
I wonder what we'd have done if we'd had a son.
What, circumcision?
Yes, if they'd asked.
Damned if I know.
Well, sir, that's a fine bouncing baby boy you've got there.
I've never understood bouncing. They don't bounce it, do they? To see if...
Figure of speech, Muirfield. Fine bouncing baby boy. You've got there. Shall we trim its penis for you? For him?
I'd say no. If you came at me like that, I'd say no.
I suppose I'd leave it up to you.
Male stuff, huh?
There are things.
And there are women things, too. Things you and the girls talk about and make decisions. Things I don't know about.
Don't be silly. This isn't Africa. We don't circumcise our
That's
daughters.
disgusting. What they do, those tribes do.
Yes. Cuts down on the infidelity, though.
What does?
Circumcising the girls. And they don't usually do it at birth. They usually wait to puberty, I think.
Ah,
And then they do it. Hack off the clitoris.
stop.
Kills all the sensation. All the pleasure when they're old enough for pleasure. Cuts down the infidelity, as I said. No pleasure, no reason. No physical reason.
So does cutting off the breast.
Hacking.
Yes.
Circle.
Hmm?
Full circle.
Oh, yes. What did you want when you came in?
When?
When you came in?
When?
When you came in with the dish towel. We should talk, you said.
Did I?
Yes.
Huh. Well, I must have wanted to talk about something.
Yes, I assumed.
And we did not talk about it.
No, I don't think so.
I wonder what it was. Was this before the spinach?
During.
I wonder what it was.
Maybe if you go out and come back.
That's silly.
It might jog your memory.
All right. I'll go back out and come back in.
And I'll go back to my book.
Okay. We should talk. That didn't help a bit.
Nothing.
Well, it had a certain kind of fascination, pretending to be doing something for the first time. That was interesting. But I don't think it helped much. Helped our problem, our dilemma.
The dilemma of what you meant
When I came in back there and said, we should talk, the first time, not the second, before the spinach.
I wouldn't keep doing it.
Well, no, certainly not. Besides, it'll probably come back to me when I least expect it, like so much does.
Down the elevator, out the door, down 74th Street to the corner.
Stand there in the night. Then it might come back to me.
Might. I know what I wanted to talk to him about.
Probably something less dramatic. But if it did, if it was, I would have to wake you and tell you.
Yes, well, I think so. And I know something terrible had happened.
You'd know.
Well, no, I don't know if I know, but I think I would.
You'd assume.
Yes, that's it, I'd assume.
And what would you assume?
That something terrible had...
Yes, you said that. Specifically. What specifically?
Well, I don't know. I mean, for God's sake, Anne.
I'm not a generality. I'm a person.
I know.
So, if I woke you and you bolted up, whatever awful thing you thought happened would relate to me, most likely, or the kids, or you.
Yes, yes.
So?
what's the term? I'd gather my wits about me.
So that's what you do, is it?
What?
Gather your wits about you? If I sat on the bed in, what do they call it, the small hours, that's what you would do?
Most likely, or scream, refuse to wake up.
If you thought it was going to be terrible enough.
Yes. But I'd probably bolt up, gather my wits about me, and ask what it was.
And what would you imagine? What would you imagine is terrible enough?
That's not what I said. Important is what I said. Threatening.
And then you said terrible.
All right.
And we don't have that, do we?
No, I don't think so. Not yet, anyway.
Poor dear. We might even talk about it.
Don't patronize.
I'm not.
I'm not a bad person, you know. My life may not be very exciting, no jagged edges,
No.
but it's not a bad life we've made together, and
No. I know. I'm happy.
are you?
Yes. Well, of course. Yes. I have my bad times. You do too.
You do?
Of course. You never tell me about yours.
I do. I just told you about.
Not the real ones. Not the ones that nothing can be done about in any real sense.
Ah, those. Well, you don't tell me either.
About the real ones? The ones there's nothing to be done about?
Yes, those.
Why bother? If there's nothing to be done, why bother? If there's no help, why bother?
To share.
Be helpless together, cling like marmosets.
People need that sometimes.
Do they? Do you?
Not yet, I guess.
I wonder if I do.
What was it you'd tell me?
Hmm?
What was it you'd tell me if you sat on the bed and woke me in the small hours? What might it be?
Oh. That my mother had died. Or yours. That someone had kidnapped the girls. That a broker had made off with everything.
Please!
What, you want minor stuff? The parakeets got out, the fridge broke, someone threw up in the hallway?
Yes.
I wouldn't wake you for any of those. And I don't wake you for the worst stuff. The real killers that there's nothing to be done about. That I know you love me as you understand it. And I'm grateful for that. But not enough. You don't love me in the way I need it, or I think I do. That's not your makeup. It's not in you, perhaps. Or maybe there's no one could do it, could love me as much as I need to be loved. Or worse. That I think I deserve more than I do, and that deep down, I am less than I think I am.
Oh, man.
Shall I go on?
Might as well.
And that nothing ultimately is sufficient. Not you, not us, not me. And I know that maybe you're going through the same thing too. Or worse, maybe you're not. Maybe none of it ever occurred to you, that you don't have it in you.
Well,
You did ask.
yes, I did.
Well, which is it?
Pardon?
That you don't have it in you?
Be kind.
No, do you? Do you have it in you?
I thought we both made a decision when we decided to be together, or even before we knew each other. a smooth voyage on a safe ship. A view of porpoises now and then, a gentle swell, bright clouds far off, a sense that it was a familiar voyage, though we'd never taken it before. Pleasant journey, all the way through. And that's what we're having, isn't it?
Yeah.
No? No?
No. Yes. That's what we both wanted. Keep away from the icebergs. Stay away from the Bermuda Triangle. Remember where the lifeboats are, knowing, of course, most of them don't work, no need. That's what we've had, for the most part. Isn't it frightening?
That wasn't a question.
No, it was not. Isn't it frightening?
It is.
Sure. And we'll never die.
No.
No. We'll just vanish.
I made the assumption, I guess, that it's what you wanted too.
Yes. Most of the time. We have a better life than most people. We haven't hit any of the brick walls yet. The playing field is all green and mowed to within an inch of its life. Except now and then there are gopher holes.
Gopher holes?
Sure, take our fucking now. There's no one here. The cats are asleep someplace, the girls moved out, and the parakeets couldn't care less. Who's to hear?
Me.
Oh, yeah? Then listen. You're very good at making love.
Thank you.
And you're lousy at fucking. Sit down. All the things that fucking entails, or can entail. Aggressive. Brutal, maybe. Two people who've known each other for years, who've slept together for years, suddenly going at it like strangers, like two people who've met in a bar and gone to the motel next door to hammer it all out, to fuck for the sake of fucking. There are people who live together for years, who love each other deeply, who sometimes go at one another like strangers, a regular one-shot deal, like you'll never see each other again or want to. The moment. Two strangers. The moment. There are people who rise to that. Or sing to that, if you like. Or rise to that. Become animals, strangers, with nothing less than impure, simple lust for one another. There are people who do that.
I'm not wise then.
I know. And I love you dearly. And when we come together in bed, and I know we're going to, what's the term the young people use? Going to do it. When we come together in bed, and I know we're going to make love, I know it's going to be two people who love each other, giving quiet, orderly, predictable, and deeply pleasurable joy. And believe me, my darling, that is enough. It's more than enough. Most of the time. But where is the rage? The animal. We're animals. Why don't we ever behave like that? Is it that we're love each other too safely? That we're secure? That we're too civilized? Don't we ever hate one another?
Cover it up any way you want. Be nice about it. But you mean I'm not very good in bed.
You're very good. Very good. I just wish you'd be a little
that's not it. I was bad once. I was very bad.
What? Recently?
No, before I knew you.
Oh,
I've never told you. I never thought I'd have to. I was in college, and I pledged to a fraternity.
well, right, people did that back then.
And there was a lot of hazing, forcing beer down us till we threw up, making us take terrible enemas until we couldn't hold it, and throwing us out of doors naked so passers-by would...
Jesus.
Yes. Well. And one night, there was the sex party.
Oh,
It was ugly. It was planned with one of the sororities. The pledges were all put together, the girls with the boys, and we were supposed to fuck. Cherry popping, they called it.
oh, I don't believe it.
What happened?
No, that term.
Well, there it was. A lot of liquor, grass, other stuff. Mattresses spread around, lights way down. Rooms, too. And most people wanted it, or seemed to.
What fraternity was this?
And there was this girl who came on to me. I didn't know her. She brought me into this room, and, well, I'd been with a couple of girls, you know, in my life. So I wasn't a total amateur or anything, and we were both out of it. Mostly grass, I think. And we'd gotten naked, and she was playing with my
Your ear.
no,
Your
my,
toe. Your penis.
yes. Shh, don't. And I guess we were both pretty hot, and I moved down on her, and
Did she like that? I do.
I know. But I thought she would. And I was spreading her a little, and she said, no, don't do that. Go in me. And so I spread her further, and, well, my penis was very hard, and I was going to enter her, and she said, no, not there, the other. You want me to, yes, there. Well, I'd never done that.
What a surprise.
Let me finish. But it was what she wanted, she said. It was real exciting. And so I did. And it was. It was real exciting and disgusting, and it turned me on in an awful way. And I wanted to hurt her, and she started sort of hissing at me, hurt me. And I guess I was too big. And here it is. I was stroking harder and harder, really jamming it into her, and she was sobbing and yelling, and yes, hurt me. And I kept on jamming and jamming into her until she screamed. And it wasn't a right scream. And she screamed again and tried to push me out with her hands. And she did, and there was blood. My penis was all bloody, and
No, not your penis. Your dick, your cock. That's what was bloody.
yes. And I was all bloody, and she was crying, whimpering really. And I said, oh God, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And she said, you hurt me. And I said, that's what you said. You said you wanted me to hurt you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
What happened?
She went to the infirmary, they told me, and they fixed her up, and she never told anyone who I was. I guess she was too embarrassed.
Or too nice.
What? Oh, yes, or too nice. So I've been careful, never to hurt anyone, to hurt you. You being everyone for so long now.
Thank you.
It's not all right to want to love somebody and not hurt them.
Yes, of course it is.
So if I've been too careful, if I'm too gentle.
You learned your lesson.
Yes.
I don't think I was talking about pain. Not like that. That's something I don't need. I think I was talking about being animal. Nothing more.
We all are, no?
Yes, but we can have it bred out of us, learned away. Thank you for being a fine husband. No sarcasm, don't even think. For being gentle and honest and thoughtful and good. That awful word, good. And thank you for putting up with your wife, who seems to want something a little less deserving, maybe. Though she doesn't really know. Has glimmers now and then, but doesn't truly know.
You're welcome.
All these years, and you never told me.
Ditto.
Touché.
There are things you don't say if they don't have anything to do with anything that's ever going to happen again.
They're not cautionary, you mean?
Yes. No.
Yes, no. I am happy with you, with us. It's me I sense I'm not happy with, not entirely. And I don't know exactly what it is. Something other.
And no one can help.
No, no one. This something other.
Almost anything?
You mean almost anyone? No, not at all. Something less, maybe. Maybe it's being secure. Maybe that's the killer. It's not pain I want or loss. It's what I can't imagine, but I imagine imagining.
It's hopeless then.
Yes, isn't that nice? If there's no help, why fret it?
Has this helped? All of this, has it helped?
Yes, a little.
Ow!
Did that hurt?
Yes!
I've never done that.
No.
And I've never wanted to do that. And I didn't want to do it now. Hurt you, that is. Astonish you, I think. Astonish you. Did that astonish you?
In that I've never imagined it? Yes.
Then that must be what I wanted. A little disorder around here, a little chaos.
And we don't have that.
No, a little madness. Wouldn't that be good?
How would we go about it?
About what?
The chaos, the madness.
How would we go about it?
Yes, what would happen?
You'd be reading. I'd come in, and the lights would start blinking, and the chandeliers would start swaying.
An earthquake.
Or a tornado. As we'd hear it coming, a sound we'd never heard before, roaring, but we knew exactly what it was.
Then I'd go to the window, and there it was, coming right at us.
And it would be terrifying and exciting, and sweep us all away, rip the pictures off the walls, shatter the windows.
Knock over the cages, and the birds would fly out.
And the cats would see that, and they would grab the parakeets and eat them. Fearful symmetry.
And we would see this, and we would do what? Eat the cats? But who will eat us?
We do that ourselves. Oh, we eat ourselves all up.
Gobble, gobble.
Dumb.
Read there. Something readable.
Don't be forever.
No. No, I won't.
I love you, you know.
Yes, I know. I love you.
Don't take any wooden nickels.
Don't take any what? And
We'll take a 10-minute intermission before the zoo starts.
I've been to the zoo. I said I've been to the zoo. Mister, I've been to the zoo.
what? I'm sorry. Were you talking to me?
I went to the zoo and then I walked until I came here. Have I been walking north?
North? Oh, I think so. Let me see.
Is that Fifth Avenue?
Oh, yes, it is.
What's that cross street there? That one to the right?
That? Well, that's 74th Street.
The zoo is around 56th Street, so I have been walking north.
Yes, it would seem so.
Good old north. But not due north.
No, not due north. What we call it north. It's northerly.
Boy, you're not going to get lung cancer, are you?
No, sir. Not from this.
No, sir. What you'll probably get is cancer of the mouth, and then you'll have to wear one of those things Freud wore when they took away one whole side of his jaw. What do they call those things?
A prosthesis.
Very thing. Prosthesis. You're an educated man, aren't you? Are you a doctor?
Oh, no. I read about it somewhere. The Guardian, I think.
Well, the Guardian isn't for blockheads.
No, I suppose not.
Well, I'm glad that's Fifth Avenue there.
Yes.
I don't like the west side of the park much.
Oh? Why?
I don't know.
No.
Do you mind if we talk?
No.
Yes, you do. You do.
No, really, I don't mind.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't mind at all.
It's a nice day.
Yes, it is. Lovely.
I've been to the zoo.
Yes, I think you said so, didn't you?
I bet you've got a TV, haven't you?
Well, yes, we have two. One for the children.
Oh, you're married.
Why, certainly.
Well, it isn't a law, for God's sake.
No, of course not.
And you have a wife.
Yes.
And you have children.
Yes, two.
Boys?
No, girls.
No, but you wanted boys.
Well, naturally every man wants a son, but...
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
wasn't going to say that.
And you and your wife didn't have any more children, did you?
No. No more. Why did you say that?
Was it your wife?
That's none of your business! Do you understand? Well, you're right. You didn't have any more children.
That is the way the cookie crumbles.
Yes, I guess so.
Do you mind if I ask you questions?
No, not really.
I'll tell you why I do it. I don't talk to many people except to say things like, hey, give me a beer, where's the John, or keep your hands to yourself, buddy. You know, things like that. But
I must say,
every once in a while, I like to talk to somebody. Like, really talk to them. You know, get to know them, get to know all about them.
And am I the guinea pig for today?
On a sun-drenched Sunday afternoon like this, who better than a nice married man with 2 kids and a dog? Huh. 2 dogs? No dogs? Wow, that's a shame. You seem like an animal, man. Cats? Cats. Oh, but that can't be your idea. No, sir. Your wife and your daughters? Anything else I should know?
There are 2 parakeets, one for each of my daughters.
Birds.
My daughters kept them in a cage in their bedroom. We keep them now for the girls.
Do they carry disease, the birds?
I don't believe so.
That's a shame. If they did, you could set them loose in the house and the cats would eat them and die, maybe. And what do you do to support this enormous household?
I have an executive position with a small publishing house. We publish textbooks.
It's nice. It's very nice. What do you make?
Now look here.
Oh, come on.
Well, I make around $200,000 a year, but I don't carry more than $40 at any one time, in case you're a holdup man.
Where do you live? Look. I'm not going to rob you, and I'm not going to kidnap your parakeets, your cats, or your wife.
I live between Lexington and 3rd Avenue on 74th Street.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
I didn't mean to seem, it's that you don't really carry on a conversation. You just ask questions, and I'm normally reticent. Why do you just stand there?
I'll start walking around in a little while, and maybe later I'll sit down. Say, what's the dividing line between upper middle class and lower upper middle class?
Dear fellow.
Don't my dear fellow me.
Was I patronizing? I believe I was. I'm sorry. But you see, your question about the class is bewildering.
And when you're bewildered, you become patronizing?
I don't express myself too well sometimes. I'm in publishing, not writing.
So be it. I was the one being patronizing.
Oh, now you needn't say that.
All right. Who are your favorite authors? Baudelaire and Stephen King?
Well, I like a great many writers. I have a considerable catholicity of taste, if I may say so. Those 2 men are fine, each in his way. Baudelaire, of course, is by far the finer of the 2, but Stephen King has a place in our national...
Skip it.
Sorry.
Do you know what I did before I went to the zoo today? I walked up all the way up 5th Avenue from Washington Square, all the way.
Oh, you live in Greenwich Village.
No. I took the subway down to the village so I could walk all the way up 5th Avenue to the zoo. It's something a person must do. Sometimes a person has to go a long distance out of the way in order to come back a short distance correctly.
Oh, I thought you lived in Greenwich Village.
What were you trying to do? Make sense out of things, bring order, the old pigeonhole bit? Well, it's easy. I'll tell you. I live in a 4-story brownstone rooming house in the Upper West Side between Columbus Avenue and Central Park West. I live on the top floor, rear, west. It's a laughably small room, and one of my walls is made of beaver board. This beaver board wall separates my room from another laughably small room. So I assume the two rooms were once one room, small one, but not necessarily laughable. Now, the room beyond my beaverboard wall is occupied by a black queen who always keeps his door open. Well, not always, but always when he's plucking his eyebrows, which he does with Buddhist concentration. Now, this black queen has rotten teeth, which is rare. He also has a Japanese kimono, which is also pretty rare. And he wears his kimono to and from the John in the hall, which is pretty frequent. I mean, he goes to the John a lot. He never bothers me. He never brings anyone up to his room. He just plucks his eyebrows, wears his kimono, and goes to the John. Now, the other two front rooms on my floor are a little larger, but they're pretty small, too. There's a Puerto Rican family in one of them, a husband, a wife, some kids. I don't know how many kids. These people entertain a lot. In the other front room, there's somebody living there, but I've never seen who it is. Never, ever.
Why do you live there?
I don't know.
Doesn't sound like a very nice place where you live.
Well, it isn't an apartment in the East 70s, but then again, I don't have a wife, 2 cats, 2 kids, 2 cats, and 2 parakeets. What I do have, I have toilet articles, a few clothes, a hot plate that I'm not supposed to have, a can opener, one that opens with a key, you know. 1 knife, 2 forks, 2 spoons, 1 small, 1 large, 3 plates, a cup, saucer, drinking glass, 2 picture frames, both empty, 8 or 9 books, a pack of pornographic playing cards, regular deck, an old Western Union typewriter, one that prints nothing but capital letters, and a small strong box without a lock, which has in it, what? Rocks! Sea rounded rocks I picked up on the beach when I was a kid, under which, way down, are letters. Please, letters. Please, why don't you do this? And please, when will you do this? And when, letters too. When will you write? When will you come? When? These letters are from more recent years.
About those 2 empty picture frames.
Isn't it clear? I don't see why they need any explanation at all. I don't have pictures of anyone to put them in.
Your parents. Perhaps a girlfriend.
You are a very sweet man and are possessed of a truly enviable innocence. But good old mom and good old pop are dead, and I'm broken up about it. Really, I am. But that particular vaudeville act is playing the cloud circuit now, so I don't see how I could look at them all neat and framed. Besides, or to be more pointed, good old mom walked out on good old pop when I was 10 and a half years old, embarked on an adulterous turn of our southern states. A journey of a year's duration, and her most common companion, among others, among many others, was a Mr. Barleycorn. At least that's what good old Pop told me after he went down, came back, brought her body up north. We received the news between Christmas and New Year's. You see, that good old mom had parted ways with the ghost in some dump in Alabama. And without the ghost, she was less welcome. And what was she? Stiff! Northern stiff. At any rate, good old Pop celebrated the New Year for an even 2 weeks and then stopped into the front of a somewhat moving city omnibus, which sort of cleared things out family-wise. Wait. Then there was my mom's sister, who was given neither to sin nor the consolation of the bottle. I moved in on her, and my memory of her is slight, excepting still, I remember she did all things dourly. Eating, drinking, working, praying. She dropped dead on the steps of her apartment. My apartment then too, on the afternoon of my high school graduation. A terribly Middle European joke, if you ask me.
Oh my, oh my.
Oh, you're what? That was a long time ago, and I have no feeling about it that I care to admit to myself. Perhaps, though, you can see why good old mom and good old pop remain frameless. What's your name?
I'm Peter.
I forgot to ask. I'm Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
And let's see, what's the point of having a girl's picture, especially in 2 frames? I have 2 picture frames, remember? I never see the pretty little ladies more than once, and most of them want to be caught in the same room with the camera. It's odd. I wonder if it's sad.
the girls.
No, I wonder if it's sad that I never see the little ladies more than once. I've never been able to have sex with... How's it put? Make love to anybody more than once. Once, that's it. Oh! For a week and a half when I was 15, and I hang my head in shame that puberty came late. I was a... I mean, I was queer! Queer, with bells ringing and banners snapping in the wind. And for those 11 days, I met at least twice a day with the park superintendent's son. A Greek boy who had the same birthday as me, but was a year older. I think I was very much in love. Maybe just with sex, but that was the jazz of a very special hotel, wasn't it? Oh, but now, oh, do I love the ladies. Really, I love them. For about an hour.
Well, it seems perfectly simple to me.
What are you going to do, tell me to get married and have parakeets?
Forget the parakeets. Stay single if you want to. Something is something.
All right, I'm sorry, all right? Hey, you're not angry?
No, I'm not.
Good. Interesting that you asked me about the picture frames. I would have thought you'd ask me about the pornographic playing cards.
Oh, I've seen those cards.
That's not the point. I suppose when you were a kid, you and your pals passed them around, or you had a pack of them yourself.
Well, I guess a lot of us did.
And you threw them away just before you got married.
Well, now look here. I didn't need anything like that when I got older.
Oh?
I'd rather not talk about these things.
So don't. Besides, I wasn't trying to plumb your post-adolescent sex life and hard times. What I was getting at is the value difference between pornographic playing cards when you were a kid and pornographic playing cards when you're older. It's that when you were a kid, you use the cards as a substitute for the real experience, and when you're older, you use the real experience as a substitute for the fantasy. But I suppose you'd rather hear about what happened at the zoo.
Oh, yes, the zoo. That is.
Let me tell you about why well, first, let me tell you some things, okay? I told you about the 4th floor of the rooming house where I live. I think it gets better as you go down floor by floor. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know anyone living on the 3rd or 2nd floor. Wait! I do know that there is a lady living on the 3rd floor. I know because she cries all the time. Whenever I go out, whenever I come in, whenever I pass by her door, she is always crying. Muffled, but determined. Very determined indeed. But the one I'm getting to, and all about the dog, is the landlady. Now, I don't like to use words that are too harsh in describing people. Really, I don't. But this woman is a fat, ugly, mean, stupid, unwashed, misanthropic, cheap, drunken bag of garbage. And you may have noticed I very seldom use profanity, so I can't describe her as well as I might.
You describe it vividly.
Well, thanks. Anyway, she has a dog, and she and her dog are the gatekeepers of my dwelling. And the woman is bad enough. She leans around in the entrance hall, spying to see that I don't bring in things or people. And when she's had her mid-afternoon pint of lemon gin, she always stops me in the hall, grabs a hold of my coat or my arm, presses her disgusting body against me, keeps me in a corner so she can talk to me, and the smell of her breath in her body, you can't imagine it. Somewhere in the back of that pea-sized brain of hers, a tiny organ developed just enough to let her eat, drink, and emit. She has some foul parody of sexual desire, and Peter, I am the object of her sweaty lust.
It's disgusting. That's horrible.
Yeah, but I have found a way to keep her off. Whenever she talks to me, whenever she presses herself against my body and mumbles about her room and how I should come, I merely say, but well, wasn't yesterday enough for you? And the day before? And she puzzles. She makes slits of her tiny eyes. She sways a little. And it is in that moment, Peter, that I think I may actually be doing some good in that tormented house. simple-minded smile begins to form on her unthinkable face. She giggles, grumbles, thinks about yesterday and the day before, and relives and believes something that never happened. And then she goes back to her room, motions for that black monster of a dog, and I am safe until our next meeting.
It's so... I find it hard to believe that people such as that really are.
It's for reading about, isn't it?
Yes.
Fact is better left to fiction. You're right, Peter. But what I've been meaning to tell you about is the dog. I shall not.
Oh yes, the dog.
Don't go. You're not thinking of going, are you?
Well, no, I don't think so.
Because you know what happens after I tell you about the dog? Then I'll tell you about what happened at the zoo.
You're full of stories, aren't you?
You don't have to listen. Nobody's holding you here. Remember that. Keep that in your mind.
I know that.
You do?
Good.
All right. The story. Jerry and the dog. What I'm about to tell you has something to do with how sometimes it's necessary to go a long distance out of the way in order to come back a short distance correctly. Or maybe I only think it has to do with that. But it's why I went to the zoo today and why I walked northerly, until I came here. All right, the dog, I think I told you, is a black monster of a beast with an oversized head and tiny, tiny ears and eyes, bloodshot, infected maybe, in a body you can see the ribs through the skin. The dog is black, all black except for the bloodshot eyes and an open sore on his right forepaw. That's red too, and poor monster. And I do believe he's an old dog. He's certainly a misused one. Almost always has an erection of sorts, and that's red too. And, what else? There's a gray, yellow, white color whenever he bears his fangs like this. Which is what he did when he first met me, the day I moved in. I worried about that dog the very first minute I met him. Now, animals, they don't take to me like St. Francis has birds hanging off of him all the time. What I mean is animals are indifferent to me, like people, most of the time. But this dog was not indifferent to me. From the very beginning, he'd snarl and go for me and try to get one of my legs. Not like he was rabid, you know? Sort of a stumbly dog, but it wasn't half-assed either. It was a good stumbly run, but I always got away. You got a piece of my trouser leg right here. See, you can see where it's mended. That was the second day I lived there. But kicked free, ran upstairs fast, and that was that. To this day, I don't know how the other roomers manage it, but you know what I think? I think it had only to do with me. Cozy. So, anyway, this went on for a few weeks, whenever I came in, but never when I went out, which is funny, or was funny. I could pack up and live on the street for all the dog care. So I thought about it upstairs, one of those days that I bolted up there, and I made up my mind. First, I'll kill the dog with kindness, and if that doesn't work, I'll just kill the dog. Don't react. Peter, just listen. So, the next day, I bought a bag of hamburgers. Medium rare, no ketchup, no onion, and on the way home to the rooming house, I threw away the rolls and I kept just the meat. When I opened the door, he was waiting. There he was, waiting. I figured. No, I went in, all right, very cautiously, and I had the hamburgers, you remember? And I set them down from the dog where he was snarling about 12 feet, like so. Well, he snarled, he stopped, He sniffed. He moved slowly, then faster. When he got to the meat, he stopped and he looked at me. And I smiled, very tentatively. You understand? He turned his head back to the meat. He sniffed. He smelled some more. And then... He tore into them! It was as if he had never eaten anything before in his whole life, except like garbage, which might very well have been the case. I mean, I don't think the landlady eats anything but garbage, but he ate all the hamburgers, almost all at once, making sounds in his throat like a woman. And after he finished the meat, the hamburgers, and tried to eat the paper too, he sat down and he smiled. At least I think he smiled. I know cats do. And it was a very gratifying few moments. And then, BAM! He came for me. I sprinted upstairs, and he didn't get me that time either. Well, I lay down on my bed, and I thought about the dog again. And I, to be truthful, was offended. I was damn mad, too. That was 6 perfectly good hamburgers without enough pork in them to make them disgusting. I was offended. So, I thought about it. I decided to let it go on for a few more days. But if you think about it, this dog had what amounted to an antipathy toward me, and I wondered if I might overcome that antipathy. Anyway, tried for 5 more days, but it was always the same. Stop, snarl, move, faster, stare, gobble, rah! Smile, snarl, bam! Well, at that point, Columbus Avenue was strewn with hamburger rolls, and I was less offended than I was disgusted, so I just decided to kill the dog. Don't be so alarmed, Peter. I didn't succeed. So, the next day, I bought only 1 hamburger and what I thought was a murderous portion of rat poison. When I asked the man for the hamburger, not to bother with the roll, I wanted just the meat, I expected a reaction from him like, "Oh, we don't sell no hamburger without the roll. What are you gonna do? Eat it out of your hands?" But no, he just smiled benignly, wrapped it up in wax paper, and said, "A bite for your pussycat?" I wanted to say something like, no, not really. It's a plan I have to poison a dog I know. But you can't really say dog I know without sounding funny. So I said a little loudly, I'm afraid, and too formally, "Yes, a bite for my pussycat." People looked up. It always happens when I simplify things. People will look up, but that's neither hither nor thither. On the way back to the rooming house, I kneaded the hamburger and the rat poison between my hands, at this point feeling as much sadness as disgust. When I opened the door, there the beast was, waiting to take the offering and then jump me. Poor bastard! He never learned that the moment it took him to smile gave me time enough to move out of the way. But there he was, malevolence with an erection. So, I put the poison patty down. I moved to the stairs, and I watched. The poor animal gobbled it up as usual, smiled, which made me almost sick. And then, BAM! I sprinted upstairs as usual, and the dog didn't get me as usual. And it came to pass that the beast was deathly ill. I knew because he no longer attended to me, and because the landlady had sobered up. She stopped me in the hall of the night of the attempted murder and confided that God had struck her puppy dog a surely fatal blow. She had forgotten her bewildered lust. Her eyes were wide open for the first time. They looked like the dog's eyes. She sniveled and implored me to pray for the dog, and I wanted to say to her, "But madam, I have myself to pray for, and the Black Queen, and the Puerto Rican family, and the person in the front room whom I've never seen, and for the woman who cries deliberately behind closed doors, and for all people in all rooming houses everywhere, but to simplify things, I told her I would pray." Called me a liar, said that I probably wanted the dog to die. I told her, and there is so much truth here. I told her that I didn't want the dog to die. No, I'm afraid I must tell you, I wanted the dog to live so that I could see what our new relationship might come to. Please understand, Peter. It is important. We must know the effect of our actions. Anyway, the dog recovered. I don't know why, unless he was the descendant of the puppy that guards the gates of hell or some such resort. I don't know. I'm not up on my mythology, are you? At any rate, you have missed the $8,000 question, Peter. At any rate, the dog recovered his health. The landlady recovered her thirst, altered in no way by the Bow Wow's deliverance. When I came back from a movie that was playing on 42nd Street, one I'd seen, or one that was very much like one or several I'd seen, and after the landlady had told me that Puppikins was better, I was so hoping that the dog would be waiting. I was, how would you put it? Enticed? Fascinated? I don't think so. Heart-shatteringly anxious. That's it. I was heart-shatteringly anxious to confront my friend again. Yes, Peter, friend. That's the only word for it. I was heart-shatteringly, etc., to confront my doggy friend again. So I opened the door, and I advanced, unafraid, to the center of the entrance hall. And there the beast was, looking at me. And you know, he looked better for his scrape with the Nevermind. I stopped. He looked at me. I looked at him, and I think we stayed that way for a long while, still. Stone statue, just looking at each other. I looked at his face longer than he looked at mine. I mean, I can concentrate looking at a dog's face longer than a dog can concentrate looking at mine. Anybody else's for that matter. But for that 20 seconds, or 2 hours, we made contact. Now, this is what I wanted. I loved the dog. And I wanted the dog to love me. I had tried to love. I had tried to kill. And both had been unsuccessful by themselves. I hoped, and I don't know why I expected the dog to understand, much less my motivations, but I hoped that the dog would understand. It's just that if you can't deal with people, you have to make a start somewhere. With animals! Don't you see? A person has to have a way of dealing with something, with a bed, with a cockroach, with a mirror. No, that's too hard. That's one of the last steps. With a cockroach, with a carpet, with a roll of toilet paper. No, that's a mirror too. Always check for bleeding. Don't you see how hard it is to buy things? With a street corner, with a wisp of smoke, with a pack of pornographic playing cards, with a strong box, without a lock, with love, with vomiting, with crying, with fury, because the pretty little ladies aren't pretty little ladies, with making money with your body, which is an act of love, and I can prove it to you, with howling for being alive, with God, who is a black queen who plucks his eyebrows and cries deliberately behind closed doors, with God, whom I'm told turned his back on the whole thing some time ago, with God and with with the concept. And where better, wherever better, in this humiliating excuse for a jail, wherever better to communicate a simple, single-minded idea than in an entrance hall? Where? It would be a start. Where better to begin to make an understanding, and just possibly be understood, a beginning of an understanding, than with a dog. A dog. Seemed like a sensible idea. Man is dog's best friend, remember? The dog and I looked at each other. I longer than the dog, and what I saw that day has been the same ever since. Whenever we see each other, we stop where we are. We regard each other with a mixture of sadness and suspicion, and then we feign indifference. We walk past each other safely. We have an understanding. It's very sad, but you have to admit it is an understanding. We had made many attempts at contact, and we had failed. The dog was returned to garbage, and I to solitary but free passage. I haven't returned. I mean to say that I have gained solitary, free passage, if that much further loss can be gained. I have learned that neither kindness nor cruelty, by themselves, independent of each other, has any effect beyond themselves, and I have learned that the two combined is the teaching emotion. And what is gained is loss. And what has been the result? The dog and I have attained a compromise. More of a bargain, really. We do not love and we do not hurt because we do not try to reach each other. And was my feeding the dog an act of love? And perhaps was the dog's attempt to bite me not an act of love? And if we can so misunderstand, then why have we invented the word love in the first place? The story of Jerry and the dog. The end. Well, Peter? What do you think? You think I could sell that to the New Yorker, make a couple $1,000, huh? Come on, Peter, tell me what you thought.
I don't understand. I don't think why did you tell me all of this?
Why not?
I don't understand.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
I explained it to you as I went along. I went slowly. It all has to do with...
I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't understand you, your landlady, or her dog.
Her dog? I thought it was my... No, you're right. It is her dog. I don't know what I was thinking about it. Of course you don't understand me. I don't live on your block. I'm not married to 2 parakeets or whatever your setup is. My home is the sickening rooming houses in the Upper West Side of New York City, which is the greatest city in the world. Amen. And I'm here, and I'm not leaving.
Well, you may not be, but I must be getting home soon.
Oh, come on.
I really should get home. You
What?
see.
Come on.
No, really, I must go. Oh, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Stop it. Stop it.
Come on. Come on.
After all, the parakeets will be getting dinner ready soon, and the cats are setting the table. What? Oh.
Listen now.
What is it, Jerry? Oh, my.
Do you want to hear about what happened at the zoo?
Well, I had my own zoo there for a moment with the parakeets getting dinner ready and whatever it was, the parakeets or whatever it was.
Yes, Peter, that was very funny. I wouldn't have expected that. But do you want to hear about what happened at the zoo or not?
Yes, by all means. Tell me what happened at the zoo. Oh, my. I don't know what happened to me.
Well, now I will let you in on what happened at the zoo. But first, let me tell you about why I went to the zoo. I went to the zoo to see more about the way that people exist with animals, and animals with each other, with people too. It probably wasn't a fair test. What with everyone separated by bars from everyone else, the animals for the most part from each other, and always the people from the animals. But if it's a zoo, that's the way it is. Move over.
I'm sorry. Haven't you enough room?
People are there. The animals are there. And it's a Sunday, so the children are there too. Move over.
All right.
And it's a hot day, so all the stench is there too. And the balloon sellers and the ice cream sellers and the seals are barking and the birds are screaming and move over.
Look here. You have more than enough room.
And I am there. And it's feeding time in the lion's den, and the lion keeper goes to the lion cage, one of the lion cages, to feed one of the lions. Move over!
I can't move over anymore. And stop hitting me. What's the matter with you?
Don't you want to hear the story?
I'm not so sure. I certainly don't want to be punched in the arm.
Like that?
Stop it. What's the matter with you?
I'm crazy, you bastard!
That isn't funny.
Look, Peter, I want this bench. Now you go sit over on that bench there, and if you're good, I'll tell you the rest of the story.
But whatever for? What is the matter with you? Besides, I see no reason why I should give up this bench. I sit on this bench almost every Sunday afternoon. In good weather, it's secluded here. There's never anyone sitting here, so I have it all to myself.
Get off this bench, Peter. I want it.
People can't have everything they want. You should know that. It's a rule. People can have some of the things they want, but they can't have everything.
Imbecile, you are slow-witted.
Stop that.
You're a vegetable. Go lie down on the ground.
You listen to me. I put up with you all afternoon.
Not really.
Long enough. I put up with you long enough. I've listened to you because you seem, well, because I thought you wanted to talk to somebody.
You do things well economically, and then, what is the word? I can't do justice to your... You make me sick! Now get off of this bench and get over there!
No.
Get out of my sight!
Hey! Damn you! That's enough! I've had enough of you! I will not give up this bench. You can't have it, and that's that. Now, go away. Go away, I said. Get away from here. If you don't move on, you're a bum. That's what you are. If you don't move on, I'll get a policeman here and make you go. I warn you, I'll call a policeman.
You here, he'd probably take you in as a nut.
Great God, I just came here to read. And now you want me to give up the bench. You're mad.
Hey, I got news for you, as they say. I'm on your precious bench, and you are never going to have it again.
Look, you. Get off my bench. I don't care if it makes any sense or not. I want this bench to myself. I want you off it.
Oh, look who's mad.
Get out!
No.
I warn you.
Do you know how ridiculous you look now? Huh?
It doesn't matter. Get away from my bench.
What? You have everything in the world that you could want. You have everything, and now you want this bench? You told me about your home, your family, and your very own zoo. Now you want this bench? Is this the thing that men fight for? Tell me, Peter, is this your honor? Is this iron, this bench? Is this the thing in the world you fight for? Can you think of anything more absurd?
Absurd? Look, I'm not going to talk to you about honor or even try to explain it to you. Besides, even if it were, you wouldn't understand.
You have no idea what you're saying, do you? This is probably the first time in your life you've ever had to face anything more trying than cleaning your cat's litter box.
Oh boy. Go ahead.
Oh yeah? What do you got? Come on, tell me. Tell me what you have. What?
Oh boy, listen to you. Well, you don't need this bench, that's for sure.
Yes, I do.
I've come here for years. I have hours of great pleasure, great satisfaction right here. And that's important to a man. I'm a responsible person and I'm a grown-up.
Fight for
This
it.
is my bench and you have no right to take it away from me.
Defend it. Defend yourself. Defend your bench.
You push me to it. Get up and fight.
Like a man?
Yes, like a man, if you insist on mocking me even further.
I'll give you credit for one thing, Peter. You are a vegetable and very nearsighted.
That's
man.
enough.
But as they say on TV, you know, and I say this, Peter, I mean it. You have a certain dignity. It
Stop!
Very well. We'll battle for the bench. But I'm afraid we're not evenly matched.
You're mad. You're stark really mad. You're going to kill me.
There you go. Pick it up. Now you have the knife, and we will be more evenly matched.
No!
Pick up that knife and you fight with me. You fight for your self-respect. You fight for the bench.
Help! Help! Someone help!
Help fight, you miserable bastard. Fight for your bench. Fight for your man. That little vegetable. You couldn't even get your wife with a male child.
God! It's a matter of genetics, not manhood. You monster! I'll give you one last chance. Get out of here and leave me alone. Get out of here. Leave me alone.
So be it. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. I mean that. Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
I came unto you, and you have comforted me, dear Peter.
Oh my God.
But Peter, you should probably go. Somebody might come here. You don't want to be here when somebody comes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But Peter, let me tell you one thing. You're not really a vegetable. No, you're an animal too. You're an animal. But Peter, go. You should probably go. Hurry away before somebody comes. Hurry, Peter. Oh, Peter! Wait, your book. Yeah, come get your book beside me on your bench, on my bench, rather. Get your book. Peter, hurry. Peter, hurry, get your book.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Very good, Peter. Hurry away.
to making the dinner and